Brenda and Any, for Any, because I protect myself. I want to stay with you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if she says her name is Brenda Anahi, so therefore Annie, I'm a bit confused now. So does that mean that she actually did lie about her name? Because technically speaking, all she did was give them her nickname, which is still based on her actual name. I'm just saying, in a lot of situations, they wouldn't be that deep. But because a marriage was supposed to happen, or is a part of the plan, 1000%, you're going to need to know somebody's actual name. Otherwise, it is definitely hella suspicious. But hey ho, we continue.
Whole timeline of our relationship like flashed in front of me, and I just try to make sense of things like, oh, I never booked her a flight ticket ever before. I never actually looked at her ID.
But let's be real though, in what situation would you necessarily need to book her flight ticket if she's enough? Listen, if you're paying for a flight ticket and you're booking it for her, fair enough. But if you're giving her money and then she's booking on her end, then you don't need to book a flight ticket. Nor do you really have to look at someone's ID, to be honest with you. So I don't really feel like the point that she's making is even really a good point personally, because, you know, we only look at people's IDs when it comes to certain situations. And most of the time, we ain't looking at each other's IDs. Most of the time, we're asking each other what our names are. You see what I'm saying? Usually it starts off with, oh, hey, what's your name? And then someone down the line, like, oh yeah, so what's your last name? Do you know what I mean? Da-da-da-da-da. And then you start having conversations about name changes, if there's marriage involved, etc., etc. So the fact that they didn't have that conversation within the year is quite crazy. To be fair, the fact that these two were already on the path, Matt and Any was on a path of getting divorced, so he could marry her, Any, you would have thought they would have had that conversation anyway. But, I mean, this is not me excusing Any for holding the truth. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying, why didn't you ask the question?
When returned the Ensenada, I think you are angry.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Sitting there and saying that when I returned from Ensenada, I was afraid to tell you my real name because I was afraid that you'd be angry. Are you an adult or you're a child? Like, let's just call it what it is. What? Like, at the end of the day, I mean, do you know what? Let's just say, for example, to be fair, when was this trip? That's what we need to know. Was this trip earlier on in the relationship? If it was earlier in the relationship, then I don't see no reason why you wouldn't say it. If this trip happened later on in the relationship, a few months down the line, then I can understand why you'd be a bit skeptical, because you would know that it's not going to come across correctly. But at the same time, as an adult, why would you put yourself in this position? This is the biggest problem with the situation as an adult. How would you put yourself in this position? This is what I'm saying. That is the clusterfuck of it all. But anyway, the matter of fact is, to sit there and say that you'd be angry, you was afraid that she'd be angry, is nasty work. Because therefore, why are you still in this relationship with these two people if you're afraid to speak up due to someone's anger? That is not a healthy relationship. Most importantly, it means that your communication is very, very unhealthy, which isn't a good thing in any shape or form.
I told you, Marilyn, that you are angry all the time. You are angry for my family, for I don't tell with Anto. I just want to.
I mean, the situation with the family was a bit different, isn't it? Because you've literally you've hidden these two from your family, knowing forward that you want to marry them. So of course they're going to be upset about that. Of course. To be fair, I wouldn't even use the word anger. I'll just use the word upset. Because really and truly, if you're doing things that's always upsetting them, then what do you expect? How about you do things that doesn't upset them, and then you wouldn't get these results? It's funny how she's easy to cry about, I'm just afraid of this, I'm afraid of that, but yet you wasn't afraid to sleep with Matt on the first night you two encountered when Amani was sleeping. Do you know what I mean? You also wasn't afraid to tell Amani that you loved her more than Matt, but then also wasn't afraid to tell Matt that wasn't true or that wasn't the case. So you're not afraid to play a game with them, to tell them the things that they want to hear, but you're afraid to tell them the truth. Come on. The madness behind this is crazy.
You love me and give me as much of the relationship as I'm giving you. You've lied about all this for a year, and here we are trying to get divorced for you.
Again, I want to know though, in this position here, in this process, when you'd announce that you wanted to marry her, why didn't you guys talk about names? Usually when that comes up, I mean, women are very notorious, at least in my life, to ask me, so what's your last name? You know what I'm saying? But if we get married and I want to know what my name will be. It's a general question. To be fair, women generally want to know your name anyway, for the most part, right? I mean, so do men too, but you know, so it just makes you wonder. It's absolutely mind blowing, to be honest with you. But hey, if you're still here 5 minutes into the video, that clearly tells me that I've got you hooked, and that clearly means you want to subscribe. Otherwise, why are you still here? And you also want to like the video. But we continue.
Are you still married?
You talk about my
I thought you were. No, I thought you were working on that. Remember? Maybe I misunderstood.
I don't know how you tell people that she's not married to then tell them that you misunderstood. That is just wild. How do you misunderstand such crucial information? Because now you're out here spreading misinformation, given that it is misinformation.
I don't know.
There's no way you misunderstood. You speak Spanish.
Changed his story to "I'm mistaken." Any woman that can snap her fingers like that and change a man's memory.
I mean, definitely, you'd be asking questions. How is that possible? How is it possible that all of a sudden you've just realized that you're mistaken? And the guy had the audacity to sit there and say, oh, maybe it's my age. Huh? What's your age got to do with anything? You speak clear Spanish. You two was going back and forth. Full understanding. And also, you know Brenda. So how would you not? Do you see what I'm saying? So I understand them obviously not, or at least Matt being a bit fishy about that, about him changing his mind just like that. Is it that deep? I guess we don't know I guess we don't know for sure right now. It's something that we will know later on. But hey, at the end of the day, when it comes to the situation at hand here with this throuple itself in particular, the fact that the communication with the throuple has been one of the biggest issues throughout the whole season tells us exactly that their relationship ain't nothing but trash. Purely because at the very beginning we had the miscommunication of the fact that Amani fell asleep, and what happens in that time when she fell asleep? Well, Matt and Annie then ended up having intimacy. She wasn't happy about it because she felt as if they didn't communicate properly. Later on, Brenda then tells Amani that, hey, I am in love with you, but not so much with Matt. But then all of a sudden, she then tells Matt something completely different. Again, communication. It is crazy work. Communication has been the biggest downfall. And then also on top of that, you know, it took Amani a while to even tell Matt about that information as well. You see what I'm saying? So, if the communication isn't going to be healthy in a throuple, then a throuple isn't going to work. In these type of relationships, communication is more important than ever. I mean, to be fair, communication is important, regardless of what type of your relationship is. Anyway, to be fair with you, there is no difference in levels. Communication is communication, and that's just the bottom line. You know, but in challenging situations, that's when you need to not be afraid to communicate as much as possible. And that was where she has failed in this situation. But hey, we continue with the next couple.
My friends start hating you, it's going to cause so many problems for me. I've had problems in the past with exes that got on the bad side of like my friends.
I'm curious to find out how these exes got on the bad side of her friends. And the reason why I'm curious to find that out is because I want to know what role she played in that. Because right now, Sarper's issue with Dan has massively been impacted because of Shekinah, but she's not holding herself accountable to that. Am I surprised? Hell to the no. But let's check it out.
Hell to deal with because I constantly am getting negative feedback from them. Comedy night really blew up because Sarper made a jab at Dan. And
we can sit here and say that yes, Comedy Night blew up because Sarper made a jab at Dan, but who invited Dan? Oh wait, Shekinah. And who told Sarper for Sarper to basically be cordial with Dan on that night? Oh wait, that was you, right? And you was convinced that Dan was there to support Sarper. Even though Dan fully sat there and said, I don't know if I'm going to support him. I got to see what this is all about. And also on top of that, who is the person that's actually introduced Sarper to an ex that she actually went on a date with and I believe exchanged kisses with? Oh wait, that was you, right? So wait, hold on a minute, hold on a second. But who was the one that told Sarper that he can't work with female clients anymore on the very first time going to the gym with him in Turkey and being jealous by a female calendar? Oh wait, a client that he's never slept with, never had any dates with, anything romantic in any shape or form. Oh wait, that was you, right? So it's interesting, isn't it, how one, she's a massive hypocrite, and she wants to take no accountability for the problems that Sarper's going through with her friend Dan. So I do wonder with her exes, I really do wonder with her exes, did they fall out with her friends because of something that she did as well? Or generally because those men just wasn't good people? But I will say this, by the end of their segment, there's something that Dan says That was definitely interesting.
It was a low blow.
I understand how important your friends for you, but
Yeah.
I'm excluding him in your friend group.
I never slept with him, so it makes things a lot less complicated.
Hypocrite. Okay, well, Sarper had a client that he's never slept with, so why couldn't he continue earning money from her? Make that make sense. Explain that. Just because you didn't sleep with the guy doesn't mean anything. You still dated the guy, and the guy's made it abundantly clear multiple times that he wants you. Literally, before she even flew off to see Sarper in Turkey on the very first season, he says to her, I don't want you to go see this guy. I want us to try and give it a go. Then when he meets Sarper, he even tells Sarper that things more things happen between you two than meets the eye. Then also tells Sarper that he still wants you, and he also tells Sarper that he's not a good enough man to be with you because he can be a better man to you than Sarper is. Are we forgetting all these things here? She wants to sit and say, oh, it's not a big deal because, bruh, the guy has been nothing but problematic. He has said things that's out of line since day one. He hasn't even tried to be cordial with Sarper one bit. The guy was cruel about Sarper before he even met Sarper. Come on. Come on. Stop with the BS.
Don't talk about details.
Well,
right
I'm
now
just
I'm
being
drinking
honest.
coffee. I don't want to think about those. Okay.
Like, do you need to talk to Dan or something? You should.
Dan,
No, I
from-
think you actually should talk to him.
No.
You should clear the air and tell him that
You
you're
are not
sorry.
the
Imagine telling your man to apologize to another dude that has been as problematic as you. Now, this is where it gets interesting.
because I told her to not to see you again, to not include you in the friendship, but she doesn't accept this. Please.
The fact that he walked into this conversation and told Dan that Shekinah remove you at the friend group. Why would you do that? You're giving that guy power. He now knows that he's more important to Shekinah than you are. You're giving him the pure confirmation itself right then and there. So I don't know why he started with that freaking line. It's such a stupid line to start with.
To a guy that she met maybe like a year ago.
2 years ago.
Okay, in Turkey, and then now you're here. It's not how it works.
You gave him the reply.
You think you're the only bad boy here? Yeah, trust me, I can be a very bad boy.
And now we have a conversation about who's the bad boy. Two men talking about who's the bad boy. That's when you know neither one of them are bad boys. And to be honest with you, I don't know why they're even speaking about being bad boys as if it's a great thing. It's not. It means you're both basically saying that you're scumbag to women. But obviously to Sarper, he thinks bad boy means alpha. But I do not recognize them two being the same. But anyway.
You think you're the bad boy? I've been dating all the girls in our friend group already.
And this is what he said that then was like, okay, what's going on here? So this Dan dude here has been around with all the girls in the group. So why is he still, why are these women still friends with this guy? But clearly he's not a bad boy because he's been around with the girls, taking them on dates. But guess what, Dan? Neither one of them has actually said, Dan, do you know what? I actually want to settle down with you. Dan, do you know what? I actually want to go to the next space with you. Dan, do you know what? You're a great guy. Let's see where this can go. You've been around with all these girls, but guess what? You're still here, single, in your big-ass house, lonely as hell. What's there to brag about? What you've just said is not a flex. You've just exposed yourself for being somebody that isn't worthy of a relationship. Because women don't seem to want to be with you in a relationship. Because if they did, then why are you not? And now you're saying that you've been with every single woman in here, but all of a sudden, Shekinah is the one that you want the most out of nowhere? I mean, to be fair, I don't believe what he's saying. It's more likely going to be a lie, but anyway.
Agreed on something and he understands. If there is a next time that I see him and he does the same thing, I cannot be that calm.
Just shut up. Next time, you ain't going to do nothing to him. You're not going to do nothing to him. One, you're not going to do anything because clearly you're probably not allowed to on the show anyway. Two, there's cameras around, so it is what it is. For saying that though, to be fair, we have seen other people be violent in the past. We've seen people, whether that be a Jasmine, be an Angela, whether that be a Kimberly, do you see what I'm saying? So we have seen it, to be fair. So I guess he could do something, you know what I mean? But he ain't never going to do nothing. These are two boys having a chit-chat, acting tough, when neither one of them are tough. Both of them give me vibes as two guys that are bullied within their youth and grew up to be somebody, and now they think that they're bad boys. But in reality, they're still the same dweebs that they probably grew up to be. I mean, grew up as, shall I say. I don't know. Either way, though, the matter of fact is, it's embarrassing to see two men on national television having an argument about who's a bad boy. That is so sad. It is not a flex. It is pathetic. And it has got to be one of the biggest turn-offs for women. If it's not a turn-off for women, then I don't know. Probably going to get some women saying, oh, but Sarper is still nice, though. He's still handsome. Oh, listen, if that's the aura you like, then that's the aura you like. But god deadly damn, this is embarrassing to the next to none. Is this what 9 days has come to? Conversations like these, conversations that aren't even actually relevant, they're not even actually about their relationship. This show is so trash. But listen, we are 15 minutes into this video and you're still here, which means I got you hooked. You gotta like the video and subscribe. Otherwise, why are you still here? Yeah.
This morning, Matty had told me that he's thinking Stevie and Claire might have some history.
It's fun, isn't it, how Marty's always out here telling his friend things, you know, negative things.
Against everything we grew up around. I don't want to break up anything or ruin their plan.
In that case, don't say anything, stay silent. It's not rocket science. It's easy what you gotta do, right?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, what am I gonna do? God damn. Oh my god. Wow. Sorry.
Imagine a couple of weeks ago, I was in a country that you could have been arrested or even killed just because.
Oh wait, we're still talking about you in Iran. Are you ever going to move away from that conversation? Like, we've spent a whole season, these guys talking about the same thing again and again. Bruh, you decided to fall in love with, or allegedly fall in love with an American woman and decided to leave your country to be in America. Stop talking about your bloody country. It's boring. It's tiring. Are you here to focus on your relationship, to make sure that this is the relationship that you like, or are you here to keep playing go compare?
Because of not having a job. Sorry.
Oh, the baby of the show has stood up again and run away again like a baby. Oh wow. Are we surprised? Am I surprised? Hell to the no.
Now that we are talking about Benny, I just remembered something about the Benny who just wanted to apologize.
It's wild. This man makes a whole hissy fit, then gets up out of nowhere, and then it comes back to apologize to the friend, even though he did this madness to her the other day. But bear this in mind, he met this girl, I don't know what the timeline is, let's just say it was a week ago, okay? And within that week, he's brought in his friend, spoke negative things about his wife-to-be to his friend, then got his friend to confront his wife-to-be, and then ends up all of a sudden now apologizing to Stevie's friend. Okay.
Because I don't think I had a really good reaction when I found out about it, like the painting day.
Why are you apologizing?
Solved? I think it is. I have
Make it make sense.
promised her dad something, not imposing whatever mindset that I grew up with back in the years.
So you're telling me it's taking you pretty much most of the season to finally put that into your brain to stop imposing your Iran, you know, mindset. Now you want to start acting on that information. After all this time. Do you know what makes it worse, right? We've spent a whole season of him moaning and moaning and moaning. To him now saying, do you know what, I'm going to let bygones be bygones. But in that same time, he's now brought in his friend who's now going to basically be him. So now we're going to see the rest of the season where his friends are going to be complaining about all the things that Marty was complaining. Even though Marty now isn't going to complain about it anymore, but he's now actually going to move forward and go in the direction he needs to go in. I'm a bit baffed here. Like, why is the friend here then? Oh, yep, do you know what, production team? Yeah, we got tired of Marty's doing it, so we're going to bring in his friend to now finish off the rest of the moaning. Yeah, let's just back. Come on now.
It doesn't affect our relationship. I thank you all, guys. You just made a really good night and memorable that I will never forget.
I mean, you got up and walked away because you couldn't, but now it's going to be a memorable night. That's baffling. I didn't put the clip in, I don't know why, but the friend literally goes up and says, listen, I don't know what's wrong with Marty, but he seems to have a culture shock, and I'm going to do whatever I can to pretty much, show him what to expect. So now the friend isn't even here to support him now? His friend is now here to expose Stevie's bad intentions? This season makes all the sense in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, they've made all the scenes make all the sense. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, let's move on to the next couple.
I just don't want to be not considered. Pretty shocked at the doctor's office that you had done all this research about reassignment surgeries happening with the possibility of that now. I can't guarantee you that our marriage would survive if you had gender reassignment surgery.
It's about damn time. It's about damn time. This man was just upfront with how he felt. But it is embarrassing that we had to wait the whole season for him to finally tell her that, listen, if you get the whole shebang, mine and your relationship is probably not going to work. But it's more baffling because this is a conversation they could have had last season on Love in Paradise. But anyway, we are here where we are where we are now. I'm just happy that he finally spoke up. That's just that. Took long enough, but it is what it is. But yeah, because I guess we have to wait and see how this turns out. But with that being said, let's crack a lacking with the last one.
You want me to come in with you and help you? I'd love to, but I'm going to be talking to my family. I just want them to be the first people to see me, like my sisters, like my mom, if she's there.
I don't understand why it would be a bad thing for Greg's mom to also be there with her family. Like, this would be a great time for Greg's mother to bond with your family. Your old ladies, do you know what I mean? Like, in any other situation, I'm pretty sure if you were all in the same country, you'd all be going together, potentially. And the fact that she's offered is actually a great thing. I don't know why she said no, to be honest. I found this one really, really weird. You know, it's literally a good time to bond. You know? Because let's be real, they don't have the best of relationships, so this would have been a good time. And let's be real, Greg's mom has gone out of her way to drive her to this place because Greg gone to work. Joanne, she has been, you know, in my opinion, ungrateful to Greg's mom's hospitality, you know, and her being willing enough to allow her into her home, you know, and to also drive her around because, you know, she can't. Like, come on. Would you have been a big deal for her, for Greg's mom to have been a part of this? Well, let me know your thoughts on that one. But listen, with me, if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, then clearly I've got you hooked on a very season. So you might as well subscribe and like the video. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.